Hey YouTube, Kiritwig here, bringing you all an update to my Gold Pride Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for post-Cyberstorm access. Big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Gold Pride deck for the video. It's a really awesome deck that focuses on you having lower life than your opponent for you to activate your many different Gold Pride card effects or just to special summon these monsters out onto the field. We got a new Fusion monster, a new Xyz monster, and a couple new main deck cards for the deck, giving it overall some pretty good support to combo with the older cards we got from the previous set. I find mixing it with the punk cards, with the fact that they can pay life and do some pretty easy synchro and level 3 setup plays to work with our new rank 3 Gold Pride monster, Chariot Carry as well, to combo well with the deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. For the Gold Pride monsters, we're running 3 copies of Gold Pride Leon. With this card, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one non-warrior Gold Pride monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Gold Pride monsters. And during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon one synchro monster using only Gold Pride monsters you control. You can only use each effect of Gold Pride Leon once per turn. So you have the synchro option for your different cards as well. We also have some new targets for the special summon of our Gold Pride, including Gold Pride Rollerballer being our new setup for the special summon of this card, and our fusion setup as well when we use it. For one of the other 3 ofs that we run in the deck, we're also running 3 copies of Gold Pride Captain Carry. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Gold Pride Trap from your deck to your hand. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Gold Pride monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck, banish up to 3 Gold Pride cards in your graveyard, and if you do that, monster gains 500 attack for each card banished. You can only use each effect of Carry once per turn, but it's set up again for your search for your trap, and being a level 3 monster along with our Gold Pride Leon, we do have the 2 monsters needed to even go into Gold Pride Chariot Carry if we didn't want to go for the synchro play. I'm only running 1 copy of the new Gold Pride Rollerballer. I really feel it's all you need because we do have search power in the form of our new Gold Pride Better Luck Next Time spell to just add this card to our hand. If our life points are lower than our opponents, we can special summon this card from our hand. And during the main phase quick effect, you can fusion summon 1 Gold Pride Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. You can only use each effect of Gold Pride Rollerballer once per turn. So with this card, it has the fusion option as well. If you were to summon it off of your Gold Pride Leon, you then have either the synchro play thanks to Leon, or you can use the Rollerballer being a higher level monster to go into our Gold Pride Pinballer for our fusion play, just needing a Gold Pride Rollerballer and 1 or more Gold Pride monsters. And then lastly, for the Gold Pride monsters, 1 copy of Gold Pride Nitro Head with the, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, being able to special summon it from the hand. And during your opponent's standby phase, you can special summon 1 Nitro token onto the field, level 8 with 0 attack and 0 defense to your opponent's field, but it cannot be used as link material. And during your opponent's main phase, you can target 1 Nitro token on the field, destroy that token, also destroy all cards in the adjacent monster zones and spell and trap card zones. So this gives you sort of a setup with that token and just another easy search and setup with Nitro Head, but like Rollerballer, it's really just a one of that you can rely on for those additional plays against your opponent. For the Punk engine, we are running 3 copies of No Punk Xyz. With this card being, you can pay 600 life to add a Punk monster from your deck to your hand, except for No Punk Xyz. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Punk monster you control, and it gains 600 attack. So it's mostly just for the life point pay. You can just set up on your first turn a search, and then making it so your life points are lower than your opponent's for you to then special summon out all of your other Gold Pride monsters. You also only need 2 level 3 monsters to summon Chariot Carry, so you can even use some of your level 3 punk monsters to summon that card out. Also, 3 copies of No Punk Foxy Tune with this card once per turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can gain life points equal to the monster's original attack. And with this card also, once per turn, you contribute 1 Punk monster, special summon this card from your hand, and you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon 1 Punk monster from your deck except a level 8 monster. So it's just another easier access to No Punk Xyz for you then to use this card's own life point pay to add 1 of our other Punk monsters, with it either being our No Punk Deer Note or our Punk Shirakusai for the fusion option, with our Shirakusai to go into our Punk Rising Carp, and then with Deer Note being able to just have another special summon for the revealed monster, revealing another Punk in our hand, and being able to target 1 in the graveyard except a level 5 monster, and special summon it by sending it to the graveyard for its own search. And then for the rest of the monsters for the main deck, I run the 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and the 3 Ghost Ogre. Just a big, heavy trap lineup for hand traps, just because we have all the other monsters, which work pretty well as just set up for our other summons. So a heavy hand trap lineup just helps with the metagame at locals to stop a good number of plays with the new Pirelli and Super Heavy Samurai decks. Also, the 2 copies of Drill and Lockbird for the additional search lockdown, and also running the 3 Cyframe Gamma and the 1 Driver for more monster effect negation, being very, very well used against the Pirelli deck. And that's it for the main deck monsters. Moving on now to the spells, running 3 copies of the new Gold Pride, Better Luck Next Time. With this continuous spell, when it's activated, you can add 1 Gold Pride monster from your deck to your hand, and if you do, lose life points equal to its attack. If a face-up Gold Pride monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck returns to the extra deck, except during the damage step, you can draw 1 card, and you can only use this effect of Gold Pride, Better Luck Next Time once per turn, and you can only activate 1 Gold Pride, Better Luck Next Time per turn as well. So with this card, you have another way, if you don't have the Punk engine, to at least get a search for one of your Gold Pride monsters, and then also being able to lower your life down equal to its attack, so your life points will be lower for then you to have a way to special summon out those Gold Pride monsters onto the field. It's a definite 3-of since it's just a searcher all together for your Gold Pride cards. We're also running 1 copy of Gold Pride, The Crowd Goes Wild, for another search, just revealing a Gold Pride monster in your hand, adding a Gold Pride monster with a different name from your deck to your hand, and then you can either special summon 1 from your hand but lose life points equal to its attack, so it gets around the lower life by just special summoning out the needed Gold Pride monster onto the field and then losing life equal to its attack, so then you can special summon out your other Gold Pride monsters thanks to it also. I also run the 3 copies of Emergency Teleport just for the psychic option for our monsters. It gives us more of a search for the Punk monsters, just being able to summon out our level 3 or lower ones, so our Shirakusai or even our Zeoman onto the field to then use for any of our plays. And lastly, for the spells, the 1 copy of Call by the Grave. If you want to run the reinforcements of the army, you could always mix around some of the other numbers of hand traps that we run, reducing those numbers, like dropping, Ghost Ogre down to a 2 of count, to put in reinforcements of the army to have extra additional search for cards like Gold Pride Leon. And then for the trap cards, I run 2 copies of Gold Pride Start Your Engines. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, target one of those monsters, reveal 3 Gold Pride monsters from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon, shuffle the rest into the deck, and then destroy the targeted monster. So this is a searcher that you can easily get off of Captain Carry, and then just setting up another Gold Pride monster onto the field, revealing 3 from your deck. So depending on which one your opponent has, you may have an additional search for your monster when it's summoned, but then also just being able to take out your opponent's own card with this card also. And then lastly, just 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Once again, if you want to increase the number of this card, you could just either reduce the number of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, or take out the Droll lineup. If you were to do that and just didn't want to run 1 copy of Droll, you can always put in the Reinforcements of the Army copy here as well, and then have the 3rd copy of Infinite Impermanence. And then that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 copies of the Xyz monster, Gold Pride Chariot Carry. Needing 2 level 3 monsters, you can detach 1 from this card to add 1 Gold Pride spell from your deck to your hand. Then if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can send 1 Gold Pride monster from your deck to the graveyard. You go and use the previous effect of Chariot Carry once per turn, and once per turn during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, return this card to the extra deck. And if you do, special summon 1 Gold Pride Captain Carry from your deck or graveyard. So it gives you access to Captain Carry, but it also has a play setup that at least allows you to get a search for your go-to Gold Pride spell for you to then activate in your hand for that play. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, you also just have a Gold Pride send to the graveyard, so you can have a monster there to summon out when you add, let's say, Gold Pride Leon from the spell you searched off of this card as well. I also run the 1 copy of Zeus for the additional special summon on top of Chariot Carry if we've made use of this card, and with this card being once per turn during the end phase, to get around the return of this card by just being able to attack with it and then overlay into Zeus. Also, the 1 copy of Gold Pride Star Leon. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to that target's original attack. Then if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can destroy that monster. You can use this effect of Star Leon once per turn, and during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated, return this card to the extra deck, and special summon 1 Gold Pride Leon from your deck or graveyard, giving you more of a synchro option on the following turn when it's your opponent's turn with your Gold Pride monsters. But then you also have the return to extra deck play for our Gold Pride Better Luck Next Time when that card returns to the extra deck, just to have draw power as well, and the same goes for our Chariot Carry. Also, the 1 copy of Punk Jam Dragon Drive, the 1 copy of Yugioh Punk Amazing Dragon, the 1 copy of Psychic End Punisher, just because you can hit for some pretty big numbers with this card in the deck as well, with all the life you lose, and then also 1 Vulcan the Divine and 1 Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend for the additional synchro plays, especially if you go into time with your opponent with the Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. For the fusion monsters, I run 1 copy of the new Gold Pride Pinballer, needing the Roller Baller and the 1 or more Gold Pride monsters. If it's fusion summon, you can equip face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of fusion materials used. You can only use this previous effect of Gold Pride Pinballer once per turn. And if your life points are lower than your opponent's, this effect's activation effect cannot be negated. And once per turn, during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, return it to the extra deck and special summon 1 Roller Baller from your deck or graveyard. So it's literally, as the name says, it just picks up all the other different cards with the ball that it created, with all the different monsters used, taking your own opponent's monsters, and then just giving you a Roller Baller back onto the field again. We're only running the 1 because you can return it to the extra deck, summoning out the Roller Baller to then just fusion summon back out onto the field also. And then also just the 1 copy of Yugioh Punk Rising Carp for the fusion play with Xiamen in the main deck. And for the Link monsters, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and the 1 Axis Code Talker. I'm not running the new, it's not really new, it's from the previous pack, Link monster for the Gold Pride. It really doesn't add as much to the deck as the Synchro, Xyz, and Fusion do, but if you wanted to run 1, you can always just take out the Nightmare Phoenix for 1 of the Gold Pride Link monsters. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, like I said, the new Searcher definitely does help with a lot of the play setup. If you had any lower life plays, then you just have your special summon ready to go, thanks to this card. So whether you activate this card, you then have also the equal setup on your field. So you can activate this card and then add a Gold Pride monster from your deck to your hand. So you can add Leon, losing attack equal to, you're losing life points equal to Leon's attack. But with this card, you have a special summon from your hand, and then being able to target a non-warrior Gold Pride monster in your graveyard and special summon it, which is where the Better Luck Next Time will come in handy, just to send an additional 1 to the graveyard. So if you have one of your Punk cards to at least get you that search beforehand, you can then have that monster in your hand for the add off of your Xiamen on the field. So summoning out this, then activating your Better Luck Next Time will search you the Leon. You'll take the damage, and since your life points have that play from your hand, and if a face-up Gold Pride monster is special summon from the extra deck, you get that play as well for you to use. And then also for the additional play for that setup of your Gold Pride Leon on the field for the Xyz play, adding the Gold Pride monster off of the Better Luck Next Time, and then just have the additional special summon for the draw power as well. You have the setup with your other cards as well, being more of a graveyard setup to rely on, but then you just have the Gold Pride Leon to summon out to the field. Then you have the Synchro play or the Xyz play, depending on which one you want to go for. So you can go for your Chariot Carry, then also being able to detach this to add a Gold Pride spell from your deck to your hand. So then you have this card to add the 1 of that we run for the Gold Pride spells, which can then be used in search to add our Gold Pride, and then the crowd goes wild with this card. So then you have that search and then that additional option, since your life points are lower than your opponent's, to send a Gold Pride card from your deck to the graveyard. You can send the Roller Baller to the graveyard with the card sent. And then also with the play, you have the Gold Pride Crowd Goes Wild to rely on as well, depending on if you have the additional monster in your hand for that play, and then being able to special summon that additional monster from your hand as well. But then you have the special summon and search option for the fusion plays, depending on which one you added off of those cards, and returning the Chariot Carry from the deck back onto the field to give you the special summon of a carry from your deck or graveyard. So that'll give you that additional search for the 1 monster that we didn't search out already, being our Chariot Carry for that summon, and then being able to have the search for the Gold Pride Start Your Engines as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks again to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Gold Pride deck for the video. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.